This was my idea. The reason this BTS looks so good, you have me to thank.
That was
not
my
Andy.
idea. Don't listen to it.
Windows,
that was my
Windows
idea.
7
Don't
was
you
my
dare
idea.
listen to it.
Windows 7 was my idea.
That was actually his idea.
Do you want like what kind of style introduction do you want? Like
Hey, how's it going? I'm Max.
Okay, don't we look in the camera? Look at you.
Let's get it. Hey, I'm Cameron Mitchell. I was director of photography for Teach Me How to Cry.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Max Kersley, and I'm the producer of Teach Me How to Cry.
I am Teach Me How to Cry. I co-produced it, I production designed it, I first AD'd it, I directed it, I edited it, I shot it, I slayed it, I boomed it. I am Lucky Hume.
My name is Finnegan Sampson. I'm the director and writer of Teach Me How to Cry, the short film. And yeah, we shot it in May this year. Because we had such a kind of tight schedule on the shoot, we didn't have that much time to speak to camera, so that's why I'm sitting here today. So Teach Me How to Cry is a short drama starring Lockie Hume. It's about a middle-aged struggling actor who struggles to be vulnerable on stage. So the film also stars Michaela Banis and Bert Labonte, and then as well as that we've got Julian Hay, as well as Campbell Connolly and Justina Noble. So we had a great cast. We were very lucky to work with them.
So Lockie Hume plays the lead character, Graham McRae, who's an actor. Lockie Hume himself is an actor, but Lockie's a established Australian actor who's had a career that spanned decades. He's done movies in Hollywood, movies here, plenty of big TV shows, and now he did Teach Me How to Cry.
Yeah, so for this one, we shot on the ARRI Alexa Mini LF, which we got through ShareGear. The lenses we chose to shoot on were the Canon FDs. Beautiful lenses, a lot of character in them. They've got a really distinct vintage feel to those, whether it's the out of focus background or even just the way it handles the skin tones. The scope of lights that we used, we pretty much rid the selection of ARRI Sky panels. And we had, obviously all our aperture lights. Then Lockie Hicks came through and he controlled all the stage lighting, which was, obviously something none of us knew how to do. So just having him there was incredible.
I brought in my lighting console, and it basically lets me control all the lights in the venue as well as some of the stuff that they brought as well. So we had the sky panels and some other film lights, it's actually the first time I worked with sort of film lights specifically. So there was a couple of things to work out there, but we got there.
So the night before we kind of did a little bit of test shooting, but basically the idea of going there beforehand was to kind of get our bearings around, what exactly was the space and the kind of shots we were going to get, so that, when we rocked up on the day, we knew exactly what we were doing.
The lighting department went in, they'd done a lot of fantastic work with lighting plans, obviously directed by Daniel Shen and Cam being DOPs, and then Nick Smith as the gaffer, his involvement. So that was all ready to go, which made my job less stressful because I didn't have to worry about time or people not knowing what they were doing, because everyone just worked so well together and was so prepared.
It's nice to have the lighting technician come in and actually be able to utilise the full extent of the theatre's rig. We set everything up and I started to get some control of the lights, but I needed to work pretty hard to sort of make sure that we could get them to actually do what we wanted.
So going into day one, we were really, really prepared. And basically, the first 30 minutes consisted of us getting set up and getting ready to go. And then when Lockie came on set, we kind of snapped straight into action. And the day went really quickly after that. It was kind of snap of the fingers.
I think the nervous energy went away pretty quickly once we got over a little bit of a slow start and just kind of kicked into gear. And it was all good after that. Nothing really went wrong, apart from Nick Smith ripping the whole 12 by 20.
It was quite a unique experience for us. We hadn't really worked with that degree of actors before, so we were a little bit nervous at the start, and we were kind of wondering what it was going to be like. But as soon as we started rolling, it was like any other shoot,
Yeah, I see you're 90.
We've been having some issues with the Terror deck. It's been playing up, it's been keeping us on our toes. We've been really trying to, problem solve on the fly. Thankfully, myself, Walt Mather, that's my Instagram handle, Walt Mather, I figured it out by turning it off and on again.
The first few shots we got, we jumped straight into, one of the most emotional scenes of the film. Yeah, and due to the nature of the scene, we had to really just clear the space. So that left just pretty much myself, Finn, Lockie, and I think that might have been it on the stage. So, it was very intimate despite the fact we were in such a big room.
We had Lockie dressed up in this big black drape, pretty much, and Bella, beautiful Bella, did that. The monologue and the play that Graham's in himself, it's meant to be super avant-garde, and we wanted to also put a lot of white makeup around his face as well, just for that kind of more abstract, almost like Greek theatre look.
Yeah, pretty much the whole setup was just, one lone table in this open theatre. But yeah, in terms of lighting the characters though, we had access to the catwalks up top, so we had Nick set up a C-stand and just shoot a light down from top, so that was perfect to just sort of nail it, so it's just perfectly hit the table, and we had a panel hitting them for a key light, brought in negative fill for the close-ups. That was awesome, really happy with the way that turned out, and I think, it kept it moody and it kept it really sort of serious and cinematic for sort of the energy of the scene, and obviously, like I said before, being behind the lens, just seeing them do their thing, unreal.
So day 2, everyone was, I think, a little bit more excited, and we started off by doing some flashback stuff. Then we started going into the more, the moments before he was about to go onto the stage for the last time. So some really, really lovely setups by Cam and Nick Smith. Really, really made it very dramatic and theatrical.
With sort of some of the flashback scenes between, I think there were 4 of the characters in it. It's sort of, we still want them to be able to move around a lot. However, we need to create motivated and at least, flattering looking lights. So we played a lot with just big sources. I'm talking like 2 sky panels coming through big diffusions. They'd create a big soft source, and that way they'd be able to move around, the light would stay consistent on their face, and that would allow me to move around as well and go where I want, not being afraid of a light getting in shot. Yeah, I think giving the actors that much room to move around in just sort of facilitates the performance as well.
We wanted to fill an audience of spectators in Graham's last kind of monologue, so we were able to source around 100 extras to fill a certain space in the audience.
Yeah, shooting the extras, obviously that's a bit of a daunting sort of scene to shoot, but I think the main thing for us was to just work out the limits of the shot and ensure we had enough people to fill up the shot so that it did have the illusion of being a full house. Just having this sort of thunderous applause just sort of hit you in the face, and especially with that first take, we're all kind of like, holy, that's a lot louder than we expected. Poor Spence, who was boom operating, had to cop that as well, as did Ben and Leighton. Yeah, one shot I really had fun with in particular was this sort of real moody walkout as Lockie, who's all painted up in his makeup, and he's walking outside stage to eventually reach just sort of the edge of the curtains. That was just really fun to light because obviously you're moving through a massive space. So I think Nick and I skipped out on lunch that day to just sort of set up the lights. We put in NAND lights up top to emulate practicals, chucked a few MCs to create sort of side emergency lights. It's always a challenge to make sure you don't see any lights yet. If you do, they have to come off as practicals. And then obviously as he reaches the edge of the stage, whatever light's coming off stage has to feel natural and has to make sense to the story as well. So there was a lot of work that went into that, but I think the shot paid off. I'm pretty sure there's a good clip that I've seen of we're doing the move, and at one point, I think it was the one behind Lockie, I turn around to catch Bert and Campbell's reaction. Ben found himself in the wrong spot, and he's quickly had to hide into this tiny little nook. Obviously, he was on shot, absolutely ruined the shot, so we had to go again. But that's right, we love him.
Okay, day 3. Wait.
Such a down bed.
Day 3 of Teach Me How to Cry. Final day. We're shooting in Bella's Nonna's apartment today, and then we're gonna location move to Camberwell Grammar. And we're excited. Let's get it done.
Jumping into day 3 was a stark contrast to anything we'd done in the previous 2 days. The size of our location went from this all the way down to that, shooting in Bella's grandmother's apartment.
Basically, the vision that Finn had was that Lockie's space was very small and cramped to kind of emulate his mind, in a sense. You see 2 different versions of the house, one with Justina and the one without Justina. The first one being super bright and clean and proper, and then the second version of the house, once she's gone, is super disheveled. There's rubbish everywhere. It's just unkept, just to kind of show that he's having a hard time. I love my team for Teach Me How to Cry, and we all worked really well together, and we all understood Finn's vision really well, and it looked great.
I can't thank the prod team enough for the work they did in there. It really, gave Graham's life, a lot of context, and it was very visually telling of how he was feeling.
We worked a lot with practicals, so they'd placed a lot of lamps around. So in that, we were working with about 7 different MCs that we would chuck in, double-sided, so that we got a bit of light coming up, bit of light coming down as well. And that would again put little pockets of light in the background. And add to the sort of story and just kind of the world that this character lives in as well. So yeah, on the day, or I think the day before shooting, we went downstairs, removed some bulbs on the side that we weren't shooting towards, because obviously we wanted that to be our shadow side, and that way we added a lot more shape into the face, because without that we just would have had a real flat looking image. So that was good. That was something we could really work around. Another issue was we were working with a lot of mirrors as well, so I had to make sure you didn't see me or any of the rest of the crew either. I know in a few takes we even you nicked my shoulder, or you could catch that in the mirror or something, but we just work our way around it.
What did I actually do on the days of shooting? Did you even do anything? Not really. Stood around, looked, frustrated at times, just to really motivate people. Nothing.
Yeah, so I think when we wrapped, it was the last of the 3 grad films that we had to do. So it was a big release for everyone, and it was quite emotional for a lot of us. Especially I was quite emotional at the end of it. It's a story that we'd wanted to tell for over a year. So seeing it all come together with the cast that we had and the amazing, incredible crew we had as well, it was a pretty special experience.
In a shoot that could have been stressful, or in an environment where you could behave a certain way, no, everyone just really got along and got done what needed to get done. So that was cool.
It was just like a bit of a say goodbye to this just sort of period of shooting 3 films, and it was nice though. It was nice. It was like a weight off our chest.
I'm so thankful and proud of everyone who was involved, and I think it's something like that happens when you're able to work as a team. So yeah, big love to everyone.